Okay, we're here at Dick Pond in St. Charles with Caroline, who's the assistant manager here. We're talking all about shoes because we want to make sure that you're wearing the right kind of shoes, not only at the gym with us at H4, but outside the gym. We know you have lots of questions, so we're going to try to answer those the best that we can with our shoe expert, Caroline. So let's start with running shoes. And Caroline, we're talking about running shoes. What should we look for? And what are some of the best brands, and why is it important to make sure you wear a running shoe when you run?
Gotcha. So we have lots of different brands that we carry here. I'm gonna be honest, my preferences are to Brooks, Saucony, and Mizuno. Those are the brands that I carry and like to wear myself. But that being said, I'm not gonna say one brand is better than another because it's gonna depend on your foot and how it feels to you. So we like to do shoe fittings, so it kind of tailors to your likes, not necessarily what I just like. So we want to take a look at your feet, find out what type of foot you have. You know, do you need a neutral shoe? Do you need a stability shoe? And kind of go from there, and then pick out brands that may be better for your wide foot, your narrow foot, your high end step, your low end step. Those are the things that we look at when we're looking for new shoes.
Got it. So, and what about when should they look to replace their shoes from a running standpoint? Like, when's a good time to switch them out?
Yeah, so the generic answer from the company is 300 to 500 miles. I typically tell people, listen to your body. If you're having aches and pains that you did not have months 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, all of a sudden, oh, my knee hurts, my shin hurts, grab a new pair of shoes before you go see a doctor, because a lot of times your shoe has broken down and it doesn't have the support that it did before, so that's usually a good time. So we tell people 6 to 8 months to a year on average.
And we're all about, mostly weight training, but we do, conditioning, cardio movements. We see a lot of clients who wear running shoes to lift, and we like to recommend, for them to get a cross trainer. What is the difference between a cross training shoe and a running shoe? Does it matter? And what would be a good shoe, in your opinion, to wear in the gym?
Gotcha. So running shoes have a lot of mesh, which allows for a lot of lateral instability, meaning you're super soft, meshy here, so if you're doing a lot of side to side movement, your foot can kind of roll to the side, and we don't want your foot rolling out as you're doing side lunges or whatever. So that's why running shoes are not necessarily the best to wear. If you're having some issues and you need a running shoe for those issues, that's one thing, but typically we like to recommend a cross trainer, which is going to be a lower drop. We have the Ultra Escalante, which is a favorite of ours. It is flat, which is going to allow you to feel the ground a little bit more. Same thing with On, which I want to say is 4 to 6 millimeter drop. And when I say that, that's the distance from your heel to your toe. Meaning this is 0, meaning there is no distance. Your foot's completely flat, like you're barefoot. Cross training shoes usually have a little bit more material on the upper, a little bit less mesh to help accommodate that side to side movement and stuff like that. And why is that important? Because you want to use your core, so you're doing your exercises. You don't want to be up on your heels when you're trying to do squats or whatever. You want to use your core muscles and strengthen them better without having shoe assistance.
So would you say, in your opinion, that you should have a shoe just for running and a shoe just to go lift weights and do workouts like we do?
If it is financially feasible for you, absolutely you should.
Very important note there. Okay, let's talk about cross-training shoes. When should you get a new pair of cross-training shoes?
So I think cross-training shoes are going to last a little bit longer. One, because they're being worn inside. 2, you're not getting that same pounding of running over and over again, that same motion over and over. I've actually had the same pair of cross-training shoes since 2011. But I like a barefoot shoe, but not everyone can tolerate that type of shoe because it is a lot of wearing your heel, your Achilles, that type of thing. So people who are maybe not as in shape or just getting into shape need a little bit more shoe. So I would, again, listen to your body, but they are definitely going to last longer than your running shoes. So maybe a year, maybe 2 years, depending on how often you're working out. If you're working out 1 day a week, obviously your shoes aren't going to wear out nearly as fast as someone who's wearing them 5 days a week to do their workouts and stuff like that.
And so what about somebody who maybe has a flat foot or has a high arch? Like, what would you recommend to those individuals, just in general with shoes?
Gotcha. So the flatter foot person is actually the person who's going to end up with more issues than the higher arch person, unless that high arch person has a super flexible foot. Flat feet tendency to have a foot that collapses in and pronates, which again can cause Achilles issues, can cause plantar fasciitis, can cause heel spurs, all those different things. And those are the type of people that I would definitely not recommend doing a barefoot shoe because it's only going to create more issues. Maybe doing it on occasion just to strengthen your foot a little bit would be okay, but in general you're going to need a shoe that has a little bit more. This one, like I said, has a little bit higher heel to toe drop, which may be a better option for someone with a flatter foot, just so you're not completely dropping that heel down and using that Achilles more, which could pull that fascia on the bottom of your foot as well.
And then someone on the
high
opposite
arch.
end of the
Okay,
spectrum.
so if again, high arch doesn't automatically mean neutral. High arch, I have a very high arch, and I'm actually very neutral because my foot is not flexible. But I have seen many people who have come in here high arch. As soon as I have them do the balance test, their whole leg collapses in like this because they have that hyper flexibility. I would recommend them something similar to someone who has the flatter foot, something a little bit more structure, a little bit more material to it versus less. Again, beginners to people who've been doing it for a while has a lot of factors in what type of shoe I would recommend for them as well.
Very interesting. Is there anything else that you think would be really important for our clients when it comes to picking out shoes that you think everybody needs to know?
Just because someone recommends a brand to you doesn't mean it's right for you. Just because it looks cool doesn't mean it's right for you. That looks need to kind of be on the back burner. You need to find a shoe that works well for your foot, but most of all, it has to be comfortable, because if you don't like it, it's not comfortable, you're not going to wear it. And most people buy shoes too small. So I would say make sure you're getting fitted properly with the right size shoe, because a lot of people, I've been wearing an 8 since I was in high school. I can guarantee you that size 8 is probably too small for your foot, because our feet do continue to grow through adulthood.
So maybe function over fashion, but still make sure it looks good. What about, we're looking at the spectrums of what people can afford. What would be a good option for someone who maybe doesn't have a ton of money to spend but still wants a quality shoe? What are some good brands for that end of the spectrum?
Gotcha. So in the running shoe department, we actually have the Asics GT1000.
You want to show that for everyone? They could see what those look like.
It's a $100 shoe. It still has good support, especially for someone who needs some stability. We have the GT Launch and the GT Launch GTS, which is basically their version and their stability version of the shoe. Guide rail means the support they have here, and then the Launch right here is basically just a neutral version of that as well. Back to a more minimal shoe, this is the Escalante, which is more neutral. It does come with a stability shoe, but we are now going up a little bit higher in price. This is, a little bit above the 150 mark, where this one is 130. I'm going to say on average, most running shoes, most athletic shoes are going to be in the 130 to 150 range, and you will find a few in that lower range. Where's the Kinvara, you got 109, the Fast Switch, which is 99, and those aren't necessarily bad shoes either for what you're doing. Again, it's a 4mm drop, a little bit lower, lighter, not much shoe there. So again, something you might like for your clients to use in your facility.
And then how about the other end of the spectrum? Price doesn't matter, just give me the best. It doesn't matter if it's the most expensive, or would you recommend?
If you want to be super special fast, you can do the Hoka Bondi X, which is $200. It's got a carbon plate in here. It's the type of plate that you hear about when the guy beat the 4-hour or whatever marathon. He was wearing a carbon plated Nike. So it's designed to help with the roll of your foot, lighter, faster, more responsive, that type of thing. But on average, like I said, you're going to spend between 130 to 150 on a decent shoe. And like I said, if you can afford more than one shoe, it would be fantastic. If you can get something like this, and then something like this for your running, or even your day-to-day walking, which is important. People think, oh, I'm only going to buy good shoes for my day-to-day working out. Guess what? I wear running shoes all day long because I'm on my feet all day long. It's important to take care of your feet all the time, not just when you're working out as well.
All right, Caroline, let's talk about the Hoka shoes. Lots of people are wearing them. They kind of get some buzz. They look a little bit different. They draw your eye. So let's educate everyone on that shoe. Should you wear them? Should you not? What to look for? Let's talk about those.
Absolutely. As you can see, there's a lot of different options in our Hoka shoes. The biggest thing they're known for is their thick sole and their extra cushion.
I want to show everybody kind of
why
they look so...
So this is the Hoka Bondi, which is their most cushiony, thickest sole shoe that they have. Fantastic if you're walking, fantastic if you're running, fantastic if you're on your feet all day. Not so fantastic if you're doing CrossFit, because of the fact that you're up so high in that platform. A lot of people, when you're doing that side-to-side lateral stuff, you're going to roll your foot, and it's not going to give you quite that support, especially since you have that mesh upper.
Which is what we do a lot of lateral work.
Yeah, so I definitely would have to say that, if you have to wear a Hoka to work out in, you might want to try something like the Rincon, which is a little bit lower, but I would still say I really don't typically recommend a Hoka for high-intensity training intervals and stuff like that. It's usually, like I said, less shoe, so you're using your body more, and less reason to roll your ankle because you're up so high on the shoe.
Okay, last two questions. We don't want to keep this too long. We see a lot of people develop Achilles issues. What are some tips for maybe shoes that would help someone like that or naturally who are prone to that type of issue, what would you recommend?
Besides stretching a lot, the lower drop shoes have a tendency to inflame that and actually make it worse, especially a zero drop shoe like the Ultra. Hokas as well, they're another type of shoe that is got a lower drop. Because you're sitting lower, you're actually engaging in that Achilles and calf more, which is going to inflame it and bother it more. So something maybe with a higher drop, which is going to be a more traditional running shoe, that we would probably recommend during the time frame of you trying to get healthy and get rid of that pain. So
Awesome. Well, that's a great tip. Last, is there any difference between male and females when we're looking to shop for shoes? Doesn't matter. Is there one brand tends to be better towards the women's side, men's side, or really does not matter at all?
no, I wouldn't say one brand is better, female versus male, but the biggest difference is that women's shoes run obviously a little smaller, narrower, but if you have a woman with a wide foot, wearing a men's shoe is not a bad thing to do, because having a good fit is more important. I wear men's shoes all the time because I have a wider foot and a bigger foot, so for me to get the cushion and the comfort that I need, I wear a men's shoe. And my boss, Glenn, wears a women's shoe. He's got a pretty narrow foot, so being open to wearing the opposite gender shoe just for the fact that it may be a better fit for your foot.
Awesome. Well, Caroline, thanks so much. Where can people find Dick Pond if they want to come in and see you guys here?
Well, you can go to our website, which is dickpondathletics.com. We have 5 locations. We have St. Charles, Carroll Stream, Lisle, Park Ridge, and Hoffman Estates.
Awesome. And 2 locations near both our gyms. Thank you again for your time. Get out there, make sure you get the right type of shoes so you can get the right type of training in. Thanks.